Good morning, guys. We are in the studio today. We are looking at wrapping the Tusken snout with our levers. So the first one we need to do is our tanned lever one. That's going to scoop over this. We've already pre-marked of where the under lever is going to sit. So if I just demonstrate, so that's going to sit roughly there. So then when this scoops and glues round, that's going to go sort of like that sort of finished look. Obviously this will be glued in. Okay, so that's what we're doing first. So I'm just going to get our glue. And we will just do line of glue to start us off. A good square of glue so it's got a good grip. And then basically what you want to do is then just line up where you've marked the head, push down for a little while. I would use my meter bond, the activator, however it leaves a white residue, as you can see on the horns up here where I've used it. So yeah, it's not great on the lever, so we're going to do it manually where we're just holding it for a few seconds, so that we're not going to damage the fabric. So it should be ready now. That's perfect. Then basically that's our starting point. So then what you want to do is slowly go round, glue a little bit at a time, so you're keeping it nice and tight and in formation to where you're needing it to sit around the edging of the mask. So yeah, we're just going to do that now. Right, so we've now come to doing the second part, which is the darker band leather belt that goes round. However, because I buy them in belt form, real leather belt form, they're a lot wider than they need to be, the second strappers anyway, because this part needs to be seen quite a bit. It's quite a few inches. So all I do is I literally take 1 centimetre off of the whole strip that I'm using, which, yeah, it makes it work. I've marked on the belt already the halfway point, which is where I start to glue to where it needs to sit on the nose part. So it will sit like that, come down, and then it goes round, and then I always glue this one, oh sorry, hitting the camera there, I always glue this one central to the mouth underneath, just so it gives the first belt a bit of stabilization, because obviously it finishes there. I know it goes under, but it's just it's another thing underneath just holding it on. So yeah, this is a different belt to what I normally use. It's a different company that I've gone through this time round, and it's a raw leather belt, as in no buckles, no nothing on it. It's just the material, which is great. However, it does mean that none of the colourings are on it, so I've had to put some shoe dye to darken the edges, because they weren't. That's the original. They're like the natural, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's just I don't want any of the edging showing under the mask. So when you tend to wrap it round, I've done this side because that's going to be the show side. But still, when you're wrapping it around, you might get a glimpse of the lighter leather underneath through this when it's glued. So all I'm going to just do is I'm just going to use the shoe polish to do the inner side, let that dry for a bit before we then stick it on. So I'm just using the dark tan in the kiwi. I literally just rub it on with a cloth. This is like an old duster, but you know, I've used it for, as you can see, many colourings. And yeah, we're just going to literally rub it on. It might not work with this kind of material on the back because it's more rough, so you might find using like a polish brush or something to just to put it on, more so you don't get the fluff off the cloth, or even like a kitchen roll. I've used that previously, but let's just have a little look, see how this goes on. Like I said, it's a new one for me, so I'm not, it's just to get it in basically, really, so it's not as light when it goes around about. Good thing I like about using the shoe polish is it obviously gives it still a natural look, and it spreads really far, so a pot can go quite a distance. So yeah, that's obviously, I don't know if you can really pick it up there, but that's just done a little bit there just to show you the difference in comparison to the lighter end. So hopefully when that goes around, it's not going to pick up any major, you're not going to see much light. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on and do that, and then we'll let it dry for a few minutes before sticking it on. Right, we are now putting on the dark strip on the face. Please excuse my voice, I have recently had COVID and I am on the road to recovery. Woohoo! So we've marked our band in the middle, and we've also marked just slightly, and that's, apologies guys, you can't see what I'm talking about. There we go, let's start again. So we've marked on the nose part, and we've marked on the band just with a slight little pencil mark just there, so we know we can match up where it needs to sit and lay. So it'll be like this. So let's start gluing. Right, we have got the nose piece that goes down the centre, pre-cut it, stain the edges and stuff, and that's basically going to sit. I'm going to glue that, it's going to sit like that. Obviously we'll trim this bit a bit, but like that basically. So let's do that. Can I hold it for a few seconds? Probably going to need a bit of glue on the edges where my fingers are. So I've only put a small strip in the centre just to hold it initially. There we go. And found a handy bit of tissue to rub any excess glue. Again, try not to get it stuck to my fingers, which I've done on numerous occasions. Side. That's now held in place, and it's ready for this stripping. So this I brought on eBay from a company. I will look up the company, tag them at the bottom, but they're great. And although this is the smallest in the width that they done, but it's a 5 meter, and by cutting it directly in half, gives you the same width of the band that needs to go round. So ordinarily I've got 10 meters of the stuff, so that's quite a few Tusken heads out of that. But basically, I haven't cut this yet, but basically once that does, that will go around like that, basically all the way around again. Yeah, and then that's pretty much the snout part done, obviously minus your eyes that need gluing, which I'm still working on. They didn't quite come out as well sanding wise this time around, I'm not sure why. And then yeah, my next video is when we put on like a base layer of the material on the head, and then it's just all the wrapping. And then we secure the inside of the mouth. We haven't glued any of this down or made the hole yet. I'll leave that till the last in case there's any little tweaks or pulls that I want to do with these folds from the inside. I've still got that capability right till the end when we do the mesh work. So other than that, that's that done so far. Right, next stage, we've done the 2 belts and we've done the little nose bit. Again, not stuck it, just through that middle part and the sides. This is our thin strip now cut in half. Just not polished it up, but put a little bit of, just to give it a nice feel to it. Basically want to find your halfway point roughly, knowing that that's going to sit on your nose, somewhere like that. So then basically we're going to glue that part in place first and then work our way out. So we've made our little mark on the back of the thing. So all we want is a little dollop of glue, just a tiny bit. And this is literally just to hold it in place. So we're going to go with about there for it. And again, we just put it in place, push down. There's a little bit of tissue that we've got just to rub away the excess that's coming out. Again, this all gets weathered, guys, so please don't fret if you get miss any bit of glue coming out or anything. I always get glue, like bits of glue residue markings on the nose, and then I go in panic mode. I'm like, oh my god. But then I remember that obviously this all gets like a paint wash on it to make it look filthy, basically. And this particular customer has paid for it to be weathered, like my previous one I did, so weathered it shall be. So there we go. So that middle bit's glued in now, and then we just need to work our way round. I do find that I tend to match it up as I come down with the second belt, just to give it that different. I think if you went all the way around, not that, you could do each their own. I prefer to come in with a little bit, just to give it that little bit of a different feel to it. So yes, let's do that.